Does that let us know that we're live?
Now we're live, right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is live, and you are listening to the BS Wrestling Report. This is the Wednesday edition. This is the sloppy BM. This is just Matt and Bryon. We've ditched Steve tonight. We're just hanging out. We're going to do this thing live and just see what happens. No real format. We're going to talk about Raw, go over a few other things. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. BSW Report. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/BS Wrestling Report. Follow Matt at ESPN Michaels Jr. And there you go. That's all the quick plugs right off the top. What's
Hey
going
man,
on in your world, Matt?
just real quick, I changed my handle again.
Oh
You're
yeah,
always you're always a step late with the handle.
it's Matty Ice now or something, right?
No, 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 no. Well, Matty Ice is is
That's the
is
name that it shows.
the name that shows. My my new handle is I just changed it. I think it was today. I changed it. I don't remember, but it's my full name, Matt Matt Beaver, like the animal, ESPN. So it's Matt Beaver ESPN.
Oh, there we go. Matt Beaver ESPN. Follow him there. Matt Beaver ESPN on Twitter. On the
And
Twitter.
the reason why I got rid of the rest of the Eddie Michaels Jr. Um, Eddie Michaels Jr. was a pseudonym that I came up with, and when dealing with the IWC, I knew what I was going to be getting into. I was like, hey, let me come up with a pretty creative name that kind of rolls off the tongue. It's easy to say. People won't make fun of me for my last name being Beaver. Uh, now that I have officially moved on from WrestleZone, and my Monday nights will be taken up from school. I will not be watching Monday Night Raws live anymore, so therefore I won't be really interacting with the IWC that much on a daily basis like I am now. So I went ahead and just removed the whole Eddie Michaels Jr. Pseudonym. It was ESPN Michaels Jr. because some troll stole my name and then wouldn't give it back. But we're going with my real name, Matt Beaver. Matt Beaver, ESPN.
There you go. Follow Matt. Matt Beaver ESPN on Twitter. On the Twitter.
That's right, baby.
All right. So should we go over a little bit of what happened on the Monday Night Raw?
Yeah, the first match it was kind of interesting. It was kind of one of those where you loved some parts and you hated some parts. It was the one with Dolph Ziggler and the Usos versus Cesaro and Gold and Stardust.
Oh yeah, the Dust Brothers, the Dust Busters.
The Dustbusters. How are you liking them as a tag team, as the tag team champions, I should say?
The champions. It's one of those things that the championship's kind of watered down at this point, right? So
Right.
so I mean they can bring a little life back to something that's dead. It gives Gold and Stardust something to do. It brings them on TV. It's another tag team in this very, very weak tag team division. So hopefully, I mean, it doesn't bother me. I don't hate it. So
Right.
they're goofy as shit, and it makes me laugh. So
Do you think the Usos deserve it more now that we're watching the Dust Brothers or the Dust Bunnies or whatever we want to call them? Now that we're watching them, and it's just kind of like, well, they haven't really done anything with it anyway. Maybe the Usos were the rightful champions.
oh, I don't know. The Usos. I think the Usos are good. I think they get maybe a bigger break or a bigger push than they should sometimes, but it's they're exciting to watch. But they're kind of already falling into the 5 moves of doom, with your
Yeah.
standard moves, your hot tags, your splashes off the top, the dive tag onto the floor, all that stuff. It's kind of you can just kind of see the writing on the wall coming. So I don't know. The tag team division is very weak, so anything they can do to keep it interesting. These weird 6-man tags that they throw together sometimes are a little, I don't know. Sometimes they don't flow so well, but this one wasn't bad.
And you say the tag team division is weak, and I think that is very apparent when it comes to this match because this match was really the tag teams themselves, which are supposed to be the top 2 tag teams in the WWE right now, were overshadowed by Cesaro and Dolph Ziggler, and all of the talk throughout the match was, man, Ziggler and Cesaro can really work well together, and this is why this match is good. It kind of put the tag team champions and the tag team championship contenders kind of in a background a little bit. So yeah, I'm definitely behind you with that. With the tag team divisions, kind of meh right now.
Yeah, me is the best way to put it, right? Is this nicest thing to say. So I think that they need to, maybe if they take the tag team division and they use it for building up young teams, and even if they're not going to stay tag teams forever, so you're going to eventually have the Rockers split in the future. You'll eventually have a Hart Foundation split like we saw back in the 80s and 90s, things like that, which is fine. Bring these young kids up, put them together, tag them, and they can build a tag team division, and eventually, if they're good, the good one can continue on. The other guy can split, or they can split and have successful single runs, because that's where everybody wants to get to, right? Single runs.
Right.
Making money and making the fame in the tag team division isn't where it's at, and it never really even has been. Even when tag team wrestling was hot, it was still everybody still wanted to be a singles competitor. Everybody wanted that #1 spot. So you don't see tag team.
Yeah, they were so quick to eliminate tag team. Like you said, even when it was hot, they didn't last for more than a year.
No, not even. And then there was these guys would be in and out, and it was it was they seemed like the blonde one always went on, and the the brunette head, the dark-haired guy got the bone. The Rockers, Sean made it, and Marty's now living in New Orleans, throwing baloney at girls' asses and losing his cell phone. I don't know if you follow him on Facebook or not, but that's always
All right, real quick. We're gonna stop with Raw because I know what we're gonna get to next. Baloney at girls' asses. I know exactly what video you're talking about. What's the name of it though? I can't think of it. It was the ICP tour bus.
Oh, the backstage pass.
Yeah. Is that where you got that idea from? Come
No,
on.
that was. Do you follow Marty Jannetty on Facebook?
No, I don't follow Marty Jannetty on Facebook.
Follow Marty Jannetty on Facebook. That's all he talks about is throwing baloney at girls' asses, and he's insane. He's lost his mind. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, I remember it was like 1997 or 1998. It was right after the Great Malenko, and don't ask me why I know all of this stuff. It was right after the Great Malenko, but then Disney cut ICP from their album, and then they made a like backstage kind of like home video.
Yeah.
You know, a little juggalo thing, and I that was the one thing I took from it because I was like 13 or 14 at the time when I saw this, and they were just like,
while I'm talking.
Yeah, they were just having naked bitches, bend over on one end of the bus, and they were all just flinging baloney, making them stick, kind of like a cornhole game or something.
Oh, yeah. If you look in the background here while I'm talking, you see a bunch of magazines and frames, a bunch of alternative presses, and that is every cover that ICP was on. Some Murder Dog magazines. If you look, there's some pictures up here with me. There's Violent J. There's one with Shaggy. So you're talking to a #1 right here. This is a never miss it.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Hey.
#1 Juggalo. I got that Hatchet Man tattooed on my leg. Haven't missed a Hollow Wicked in 15 years. Just bought my ticket for this year's coming up on October 31st. So yeah.
They were just here in Columbus 2 days ago. I was actually it was for my birthday. My birthday was September 30th. They were here in Columbus, and I asked my girlfriend if she wanted to go, and she laughed, and I said okay.
Oh, I don't miss. I'll go by myself, and I'm going this year by myself.
All right. Anyway, moving on to Raw. The very next segment, the greatest segment in the world. The person calling the play-by-play on WrestleZone.com, his editor's note says, quote, "Fuck you, WWE. That was absolutely awful. It was Kathy Lee Gifford and Hoda with Adam." Oh yeah. I mean, that's all I have to say.
That was rough. That was rough. It was sitting there, and when they got booed. When they were getting booed, I was laughing because, like, you hear, like, Kathy Lee, she grabs the mic and she's like, "What? What did we do? What happened?" And she had no clue what was happening, that people were just hating on her. And I'm just looking, too, at Adam Rose in this whole situation going, this is where you're at. This is what's happening. This is what you've come up to. This is what you fought through the indies and went through NXT and the whole thing to get to the main roster, and you dance around with a bunch of stuffed animals for one, and now you're introducing Hoda and Kathy Lee to have champagne or wine and break it over each other's asses and dance awkwardly in the ring. Yeesh.
Yeah, even with how bad that was, what was that with the wine bottles breaking on their asses?
Yeah, so either their asses are extremely tight and taut, or or they had the worst wine ever, or I don't know exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, that was I can't say that was one of the worst or the top five worst segments I've ever seen, because then you get into this whole argument that we of Attitude Era stuff with the birth of the hand and the having sex with the dead chick and all that, but that was
Those were meant to be awkward though. Those were like trying to push your limits with the hand and the Triple H doing the cane thing there in the funeral parlor and all that. That was
the
meant to
pee
be
pee chop
awkward.
chop.
Yeah, those were meant to be weird. This was just awkward in its own. Like it happened on its own. That was a natural thing, and that failed miserably. Even the crowd, like when the crowd hates it, because they're usually they pop for anything. I mean, Kathy Lee did get them to pop when she said the city. I can't think of where the hell they were right now off the top of my head. But she's
Brooklyn.
like, oh, yeah, oh here we are in Brooklyn, blah blah blah, and they're and everybody lost their mind. But yeah, at that point it was like. She could even get a pop for that, but 90% of them they were like just tearing them up. That was no good. If that was a crowd from the Attitude Era or the '90s, if you will,
No.
yikes.
Yeah.
They made that
Not at all. Not at all. So the next one is, and the next one isn't something that we spend a lot of time on either, because I'm kind of confused as to what exactly they're doing. Bo Dallas and Mark Henry. This was where Henry got counted out.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they made some weird things happen. I don't know. I didn't get that at all. I didn't get what that was about at all. The weird match there.
Well, the week before, I think they had Dallas pin him clean.
Yeah.
And I remember when that happened, because Mark Henry was fresh getting out of his feud with Rusev, and I said, if anything, this just makes Rusev look not that strong, because he just like struggled with Mark Henry, but Bo Dallas can beat him clean. I don't know. I don't know what they're going with this.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it either. But it was weird. I don't see the long term coming out of that one. Sometimes I can see a storyline slowly evolving, and that one was. It's just like, I don't know why you putting these two together. They just had Henry come off of that thing with Rusev so fast, and now they got him fighting Bo Dallas for some reason. I don't know.
Speaking of Rusev, I mean, we'll talk about him here in just a minute, but him and the Big Show are supposed to be feuding now. I don't know if you remember this, Bryon, but I think it was 2 or 3 weeks after the WrestleMania show. It was 2 or 3 weeks, the show after WrestleMania, when I was on your lovely program.
Uh-huh.
And what exactly did I say? I said Rusev was going to work his way through the ranks, and I said by Survivor Series he was going to be with the Big Show, because I even gave a list of people, and I said Big E, and I said Mark Henry, and I said the Big Show. Those were the 3 names that I thrown out there, and guess who he has gone through. So I'm just patting my own back, just taking this time. I said by Survivor Series he'd get through all them, and then by Royal Rumble come WrestleMania we'll be looking probably, I don't know, maybe Cena. Who do you see Rusev facing at WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania, and
He's not slowing down.
he's not slowing down, and I'm growing to understand the character now. Over in the beginning of his character, I didn't get it very well, so I don't know. I could see a Cena. You threw that in my head, and I can see it happening. Maybe they could get him, or I don't know. You hate to throw the name around so much, but it would bring him down a notch. A Seth Rollins. So they would bring Seth out of everybody going, he's the guy, give him the title. It can bring him down. Those two could put in 2 big guys, throw each other around, beat the hell out of each other. that could be pretty entertaining. They could sell that pretty well, I think. So I don't know. Cena would be good. He could get that. That's a good versus evil thing there. Cena could be that superhero that they so love to put him in that position for. So
Now
either
I
one.
know that I know that you're not on the internet as much as I am. Um, so I'll throw this name at you because this has been a rumor. Kurt Angle
Oh
at
yeah, we,
WrestleMania
we
with.
we talked about that. If that happens, if Kurt does, I mean, if that possibilities of Kurt coming back, and then yeah, Kurt Angle, why not? You're gonna get Kurt Angle in the ring, and that's USA versus Russia right there. I mean, that's the that's the 1980 hockey match all over again, right?
Hey, there you go. Even though Russia's nothing what it was back in 1980, but that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, next match we had Brie Bella versus. Okay, next match we had Jack Swagger and Tyson Kidd. Even this one was a throwaway. I mean, I skipped over Brie Bella and Summer Rae.
Yeah.
That was. It says here that Brie had one arm tied behind her back. This is exactly how much I did not pay attention to any Divas match, whatever. I had no idea Brie had one arm tied behind her back.
I didn't. I didn't either. I know it was on, and I was zoning in and out and probably looking at my phone and whatever else I was doing, eating or something. But yeah, I didn't realize that there was an arm tied behind a back.
But yeah, okay. So we have another throwaway match: Jack Swagger and Tyson Kidd.
Even though Tyson's still under contract.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say, Jack Swagger is really. I'll give Jack Swagger credit for this. He's really come into his own as being the guy, being the introductory push.
Yeah.
He's basically everybody that he's been working with, whether it be Rusev, whether it be Bo Dallas, now it's going to be Tyson Kidd. He's doing a great job with getting these people out of NXT and being the first guy that they face, or in Rusev's case, like the third or fourth guy, but
getting a little momentum kind of thing.
Yeah, really, because we all know Jack Swagger has technical talent. He's not good on the mic. He has no personality. I think his look sucks. I think everything about Jack Swagger sucks, except for his technical talent. So we all know that the technical talent is there, but I don't know. What do you think with Tyson Kidd? Where do you see that one going?
The feud with Tyson Kidd?
Yeah. Do you think this is gonna go, for a couple months, or is it gonna be?
I don't know. Do you think they'd be able to sell it? I mean, I don't always buy into the feuds with the size difference between the two that are so dramatic when the difference is so great. So when the guy is, you got Swagger at, I don't know, 6'3" maybe, and whatever he is, and then you've got what's his name, Tyson Kidd, who on TV he's only looking about 5'7". It's gonna get hard for the sell back and forth all the time for me to buy. It was like when you see Rey Mysterio feuding with like the Big Show or something. It's like he could just literally rip his head off. So it just gets hard to buy. So those are the things. I don't think it can go that long. I don't think people are gonna buy it for that long.
I think that they're trying to do something with Natty and Tyson and that whole thing, and
because of the stupid TV show that they're pushing, because they had him. He forgot her birthday or something, and on the TV. I saw the previews. I didn't watch the show. If you want to catch up on the show, we can get Steve on the phone.
Okay, but here's the ultimate ending, though. Okay, so what happens? So they split up. Then what happens? They can't fight each other.
Yeah.
So they split up, and then that's it, right?
Unless they try and put her with another guy, and then he feuds with that guy, or she goes with a girl, or he goes with a girl, and then that girl feuds with Natty, and then they're still involved in the storyline.
Maybe he can go with Summer Rae. I heard Summer Rae and Natty were feuding in fake life, in the real life.
The super fake life.
Yeah.
It's funny because wrestling is fake and everybody knows it's fake and scripted and the whole thing's put together, and we know that. But the reality shows, So wrestling is supposed to be real, but it's scripted. And then you got the reality show, which is supposed to be reality and it's scripted. So it's on. Well, which one's which? You get it all.
Yes. But you know what? It is working. I will give them that. One of my coworkers that I have at work, um, I was trying to tell her about the show, about the BS Wrestling Report, trying to brag about the guests and everything that we had on, and she had no idea. She had never heard of Eric Bischoff. She had never heard of any of the people that I rattled off. She doesn't
Sounds
know.
like my wife.
She when I asked her, I was like, "Do you even know who Vince McMahon is?" And she was like, "No, no, I don't know who that is." But she knew everything about Total Divas because that's her favorite show.
Ah, son of a bitch.
So, so I mean, it's working.
It's,
They're
you
getting
know,
a
you,
different audience.
yeah, even Steve, he said when him and his wife were together there that they would watch. She liked watching Total Divas, and then she was interested in wrestling for a little bit because she wanted to see this carryover story, and it was pulling somebody in from the outside world to.
She watched Total Divas.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeesh. Oh man,
So Steve
I would
always
have
talks
told her.
about it.
Yeah, I don't blame Steve. I don't blame you, buddy. I would have left her a long time ago.
Yikes.
Okay, so next had uh, we had another throwaway match. So that's what, three throwaway matches in a row. We had El Torito
Oh,
versus Hornswoggle dressed as the mini gate. I don't know what they were calling him. Dressed as an alligator.
uh,
So what do we take from that?
ugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened. They get so confused on when to do these kind of gimmick matches because what hour are we pushing right now? Like hour and a half in, maybe?
Yeah, that's about an hour and a half in.
It's already like
Halftime, actually,
9:30.
this segment started at halftime for Monday Night Football.
So you're looking at like maybe 9:30 that this is happening.
Yeah, well, maybe 9:30, 9. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so son of a bitch, like it's 9:30. The kids that are supposed to enjoy this and be entertained by it should not be awake. Like they should be in bed, right? Like you have a daughter, don't you, Matt?
Yes, I have a 7-year-old daughter who enjoys watching wrestling.
Yeah. And was 9:30 her prime time tuned in spot?
She was in bed before then.
Exactly. So she enjoys watching wrestling, and you enjoy spending that time with her and watching wrestling. But these two times are not crossing when people are watching wrestling, and these gimmick matches are happening. So figure it out. Like this is when the adults are tuning in now. The kids
Now here,
maybe clock or something. Put it in opening. I don't even want to give it an opening match, but you know what I'm saying. Push it a little earlier if you're gonna push it and keep the kids happy.
now this kind of goes into uh, the conversation that WWE has been changing their booking to combat with Monday Night Football, and it's very apparent. One of the things that when I look at the timeline of everything that was happening on this Monday Night Raw, and take note that I just mentioned three throwaway matches all in a row.
Yeah.
Well, the very next segment that we have halfway through halftime on Monday Night Football is Rusev, and Rusev comes out, and then we have the quote unquote surprise by The Rock, which I predicted The Rock was going to be on there anyway.
Oh, see, it was a complete surprise to me, but I'm a numbskull. I wasn't paying that close.
Yeah, he'd tweeted a couple things about how he had been all around New York. Like he never said he was going to be at Raw. He just was like, "Hey, I'm in Staten Island now, doing this," and
Ah.
you know,
Yeah, well, if I would have paid attention to that, to his Twitter and his comments, then I would have maybe put it together. I'm not that dumb, but I didn't pay
but
attention to the rock.
But I didn't see him coming out for Rusev. I thought he would have come out for like a main event segment or something like that. But before we get into how great The Rock was, this kind of goes into that conversation that I was talking about earlier. Is the WWE trying to manipulate their booking too much into the effect of trying to time everything with halftime of Monday Night Football, or when there may be different breaks, because with three throwaway matches all in a row, that could very well seem like they were like just waiting, just waiting, just waiting. Oh, another personal foul call. We're not halftime yet. Just waiting, and then finally they throw The Rock out there. I mean, could that be possible, or am I just way out of
No, I
my
don't think
mind?
it's impossible at where we're at these days with the WWE and how they plan their shows. It just seems so. A lot of it can seem so, can seem so organized, and it doesn't need to be that organized and that so quote unquote well put together. It just needs to be done. So just do the show like you used to. They didn't used to worry about when halftime was and whatever. Yeah, sure, they've always combated it, right? They've always gone
Right.
against it, whether it was Nitro or whether it was, and it made more sense during Nitro, but whether it was Nitro or Monday Night Football and all that, just do the thing, and the people that are going to want to watch are going to want to watch.
I mean, I could just see him watching Monday Night Football, and we come back from commercial break, and there's still 2 minutes left before halftime, and Vince just throws his hands up in the air and goes, "Fuck! Throw the midgets out there!"
Yeah, like, where's El Torito? Throw him
Yeah.
out there.
Throw an alligator suit on that one.
Yeah, throw throw an alligator suit on that one. You're my son, damn it.
Yeah, legitimate son.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I don't
So,
know.
what'd you think of The Rock, man?
It was interesting. It was good to see him back. I don't know. Do you think that this is going to be a thing? Do you think they're going to carry it over into a pay-per-view or anything?
Ooh, ooh. Looking into the future, I think that The Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania 31.
Do you see this Rusev thing carrying over in any type of pay-per-view? And
No.
I mean by pay-per-view I mean the special event pay-per-view. You know,
Yeah, yeah. No, no, I
no, you
don't.
don't see anything that they'll try and push something to. I don't know. I didn't know. You never know what the hell they're going to do. So
I don't see. I mean, because we've seen it before. It's The Rock's actually done this before, where he'll just make a surprise appearance, just come back and just give some nobody a rub, and whether or not they take off from that after that, that's up to them. But
it's kind of like the Godfather come back and giving the blessing of to somebody like you here. I'm going to come back and interrupt your segment, which says something. So either you do something with it or you can go to hell.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I've been trying to think. I'm sitting here trying to think of different examples, because I know that there's been some, because there's been a couple times where Stone Cold Steve Austin has come back, and he's interrupted somebody. I don't know, like Jamie Noble or something. I'm like, why the hell are we ruining this surprise on this guy? And
Yeah.
I've seen The Rock do it before too, and uh, yeah, I don't see anything in the future. That being said, I don't see anything in the future with them. So,
All right. Well, I mean, like I said, it's always good to see The Rock because, well, it's The Rock, damn it, right?
and he will be on SmackDown. So if you
Yeah, I saw
haven't
some.
watched SmackDown in 6 years,
I
then
saw
now's
some
the time.
tweeting about that. I don't know if it was you or somebody that said like, "Oh, this will be the first SmackDown you watched in 6 years." Admit it, or something along those lines. I think it was you that said that.
So speaking of which, that was actually a podcast.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
yeah.
a podcast that tweeted that out. Now I'm gonna do Steve a little favor. I'm not gonna name the name of the podcast, but rule 101 when being a podcast and starting up your own thing, you do not give out other people's phone numbers. You do not ask other podcasts for people's phone numbers. You do not try to sit there and show dicks to each other and say, who's bigger? Oh, yours is bigger? Hey, let's switch dicks and exchange numbers. That's something that you don't do. So
No.
if I were you, and like I said, I'm not going to mention any names, HWT podcast. I am just saying you got your morals wrong, sirs.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try something here. We're just gonna call this since we're freestyling tonight and we're just chatting. Do you see a video up on your screen, Matt?
I mean, I see you.
You don't see. Okay, I'm trying to. There's like some way to. There's a way to share YouTube videos here on the Google Hangout, and I was trying to see if I got this shit going.
Oh, something popped up, but then it like went away. Something popped up and I didn't click on it. I just let it sit there and it went away. Why? What are you trying to show me?
I was just pulling up the Rock Return. I think we can share it somehow. I'm just trying to figure it out here. I found it on YouTube.
Oh yeah, the sloppy BM.
Oh well, we'll figure it out next time. I'm watching it. I can see it.
Are you? Well, I got like 17 devices over here that I can try to view. So I can let you know if it's showing up. Is it playing right now? Yes? No? Bryon, your microphone is on mute. I don't know if you did that on purpose or not, so I guess I'm just going to sit here and wing it.
I was. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was trying to get this thing to play, and it mutes my mic so its sound was coming through. Could you hear the show coming through? Could you hear the Rock's music and all that?
No.
Oh,
I was left alone in silence.
oh, well, fuck it. I don't know who could hear it, but somebody could. All right, never mind. We'll figure that out later. All right, we'll continue on. I thought that'd be fun to do, but it's not working so well.
Yeah, and you slowed down the YouTube feed too.
All right, yeah, well, we're closing that out. Back to where we were. This is the sloppy BM. It's an
All
offshoot
right.
show.
Who is more over? Sheamus, The Miz, or Damien Mizdow?
Who is more over, The
Yep.
Miz, Damien,
Sheamus and
Sheamus?
Damien Mizdow. Yep.
I'd have to say Damien Mizdow probably.
Did you hear those chants he was getting?
It was
Or were you watching?
this part I was a little in and out. This is where I was starting to fall asleep, and I had to read the results after this. But
Oh, okay, okay. They had what was it? I think it was yeah, it was the Miz and Sherman. I hate that Steve has me calling him Sherman. Sheamus. And Mizdow wasn't involved. Sandow wasn't involved. Everybody calls him Mizdow now. That's his gimmick. But he was outside and he was just getting all of the chants. I mean, you talk about CM Punk chants and yes chants. He was getting the Mizdow's better chants, and we want Mizdow. So
well, good for him. I think he's talented, and I think they need to do something with him. So maybe people are hearing it. Maybe they're saying something.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, good for him, Damien. Good for you, buddy.
Good for
All
you,
right.
buddy. Good for you. But yeah, I think the character's so over now. Will it carry over into being over after he's not, with the Miz anymore? I guess only time will tell with that one, right?
That's right. All right. Real quick, last section. Again, this is something that I didn't really care for, and you didn't see it, right? The main event.
I did not. I read about it, and that was the what was it? It was
John Cena versus the Authority.
and then because what's his name split on him, right, and said he was going to Coney Island to ride the
Yeah, that was earlier in the show. Said he was going to go to Coney Island, get some hot dogs and shit, and figure something out. And then he came down.
came back with like a hot dog cart or something, right?
Yeah, he had a hot dog cart, and he had a holster ketchup and mustard on each side, and then like decided to I don't I don't know what verbiage would
Yeah.
be correct for that, but spray ketchup and mustard all over the authority and then beat him down. So it's kind of like Stone Cold Steve Austin mini, Stone
Yeah,
Cold
like
Steve Austin Jr.
what's he gonna drive into the ring? What's he gonna come back with to the ring? What's he gonna push in? And he came back with a hot dog cart.
Yeah, I mean, and it was pushed. He didn't ride it or anything. I mean, no, it wasn't a beer truck. It wasn't a Zamboni. It wasn't a monster truck. This was a hot dog cart.
I was there for the Zamboni. I
Were
was
you there?
I was at the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, and I was there.
That's the one where Kane was only the champion for one day, right?
Yeah, for like 9 seconds, and
Because he was the champion, or he became the champion at the pay-per-view before,
yeah.
and then lost the championship on Monday Night Raw. Was that the Zamboni one?
Yeah, I think so because I remember they were presenting somebody with the title in my mind.
Yeah.
And then Austin drove it down, and he ran and he jumped on the hood of the Zamboni or whatever, the front of it, and jumped in the ring and did the Luthez press or whatever they call it, and started pounding the hell out of somebody, and there you go.
And for all of you wannabe historians, that is the only day Kane has been World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, can you believe that?
I mean, he's had a hell of a run and done, hasn't had 10,000.
He's been in WWE for over 20 years now.
Yeah, I mean, Dr. Isaac Yankem I thought was going to last forever, but,
Yeah.
we're wrong. Sometimes we're wrong.
All right, yeah.
He was one of the fake Undertakers and whatever and all that jazz, so.
How many fake superstars did they have?
They did the Undertaker, like I don't know, we'll count the 10 times they did it or whatever, we'll just count it one time. So they had the Undertaker, then they had fake Diesel and Razor, and yeah, that's about it that I can remember. But they did the Undertaker a lot, it seemed like.
Yeah, that was the main event of what, SummerSlam 1993 or something like that, and
Yeah.
Undertaker versus Undertaker.
That was when he came down because
The Undertaker's overrated.
they came out. That was when the real Undertaker when Mark came out with the purple gloves, because we're like, how are you gonna tell the difference? He's gonna wear the same thing. Oh, he has purple on.
You a big fan of the Undertaker?
For nostalgic reasons, but not a big fan, but just it's a nostalgia thing. As a kid, I really thought the fucker was dead. What do you give me a break? I bought into the gimmick when I was like 7, and he's still wrestling. I'm 31 now. I'm going, holy shit! I remember as a one guy still around. I remember watching as a kid, still wrestling.
Speaking of nostalgia, I was having a conversation with Steve earlier today. We were talking about nostalgia. If Triple H and The Rock face at WrestleMania 31, that may very well be a show stealer, but that's a nostalgic match. Those two guys came up together, and I think The Rock's debut in Survivor Series in 1996, Triple H was even in, and then they fought in the ladder match in SummerSlam in 97. They had the Nation of Domination and DX rivalry when they got promoted, and then SmackDown came around and they were fighting. I always said that Austin and McMahon was the #1 rivalry in the Attitude Era, but Rock and Triple H were right there.
Rock and Triple H are #1, and boy, you can't top that Nation of Domination mockery deal that they did. If there's any YouTube video that I watch over and over again from the Attitude Era, it would be with the Croc and Mizark Henry and DX doing the Nation, because that's just hilarious to me.
But we were talking about okay, so like Rock and Triple H, that'd be a nostalgic match. It'd be a great match. But let's also think about The Undertaker versus Sting.
Well,
that'd be a nostalgic match.
Now you're just being silly, Matt. Now you're just being that wouldn't be nostalgic because the two have never crossed paths. But at least a good thing about the Rock and Triple H match would be that they can both still go. And they can
That's what I'm saying.
But the Sting and Triple H, I don't think, or Sting and Triple H, and fuck, Sting and the Undertaker. I don't know why people get their dicks so hard about that one.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Undertaker's what, 50, Sting's 59. Um,
Well,
both of them, only show their forearms in wrestling matches anymore. They're just I can't do it.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. It's too much. All right, what's this?
Oh, I hit the wrong button. Leave it alone.
Okay, I'm not touching it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it says it's
Presenting. I don't know.
presenting. What does presenting mean?
I don't know. It sounds like I'm trying to mate with you. I didn't.
Yeah. Are you presenting something to me?
That's my baboon ass. I don't know what's bad button. All right, so yeah, that was but the Sting and Undertaker, like that doesn't excite me because Sting hasn't always been this dark character. I don't know. It was Sting. I still remember bleach blonde hair Sting and his Ultimate Warrior style face paint and his whatever else he had going on there, and the he looked like a high school band instructor, coming out to the ring with his tassels hanging from under his arms and the Stinger splash and all that stuff. And now they want to make him this creepy dark character, and it worked for a while in the 90s, but other than that, I don't know. Go away.
It was always the
Sting too. I was a big Sting. I liked Sting. He entertained me. I liked watching Sting wrestle. I loved I liked Sting, but he had his day in the sun, and now it's over. He should have went to the WWE a long time ago.
See, that's the thing. I never liked Sting. And I there was a minute where I liked the Undertaker. So Undertaker Sting doesn't work for me. And the minute I wanted to explain the minute where I liked the Undertaker, it was against, if you remember this, it was Survivor Series of, I can't remember, but 93 maybe against Yokozuna. 94 maybe.
Okay.
You recall that at all? It was the first time him and Yokozuna had met.
Yeah. I remember.
Before they had their casket match at Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
but it was every single thing Yokozuna was doing, the Undertaker just kept sitting back up, and everybody was flipping their shit and just going, "What the hell? This can't happen!
You can't die!"
Yeah. And I became a Undertaker fan then, but like other than that, like, oh my God, you can walk on the top ropes by yourself, but being assisted by the other competitor with his stiff arm.
Why did the other competitor ever just pull him down?
Yeah.
Just yank his arm or run at him, lean into him, make him fall into the apron, like fall off all the way to the concrete. Like, why would you do that? Yeah. That was like right when that was like when I started to realize that wrestling was a work. And when I went to we'd be wrestling at my buddies, in the backyard or whatever, and then all of a sudden, like, we'd go to do like the slingshot, like they do into the turnbuckle into the corner,
Yeah.
That move doesn't work unless the other guy stays really stiff and launches himself into the turnbuckle. So I remember getting them all set up, and I'm gonna launch him, and I throw myself backwards, and I'm like, he's gonna fly, and I just slam into the ground.
Yeah.
And he's laying on the ground, and I went, oh, wait a minute. What happened here? Why didn't this work right? And it doesn't work right because it's a work. It has to work right, or it doesn't work.
Yeah. It's a team thing, kids. Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. We're professionals here. But yeah, so I don't know. That was pretty Like that was when that was where I was at with that. And I was like, oh, I think this stuff might not be as real as we seem, but
Yeah, you got to learn the hard way, though. You got to learn the hard way.
Yeah, so that was Monday Night Raw, and that was our little live freestyle of show. We had we went all the way up to we went all the way to
some things out.
6 viewers. We are currently at 2 viewers.
Okay.
So
right.
Thank you for the 2 viewers. One hung on the whole time. I'm not sure if that was you, Matt, watching ourselves here on your phone.
No, it was not me.
So we hung on to one the whole time. We were hanging on to this second one now for a while. So I hope you guys were entertained. this was just a one-off thing. We didn't promote it at all because, well, as you can see in the middle of it, we got confused and started testing things out. So hopefully we can start doing more of these and promoting them a little more into the future and building up a little fan base to come on and watch. It doesn't have to be thousands of people, but 10, 15, 20, 100, whatever. But this will be up on the YouTube page, so share it, tell a friend. We'll post it on Twitter and Facebook and all that fun stuff. You can, once again, follow us at BSW Report on Twitter, Facebook.com/BS Wrestling Report, Instagram's BS Wrestling Report. You can follow Matt at Matt Beaver ESPN on Twitter. He'll be over there ranting and raving, yelling at podcasts, telling them to not give out their information to people and trading it, and he's always for a good laugh. So I had fun. It was just there was no format, but we just sat and talked wrestling, and it was a good time. So you guys can also make sure you head on over to audibletrial.com/BS Wrestling Report. Get yourself a free audiobook, 30-day free trial, BS, or audibletrials.com/BS Wrestling Report. Get all the little plugs in there. I had a good time. Matt, what do you got going on? You wrapping things up, getting the hell out of here. It's time for bed. It's like 10 o'clock. It's time for me to hit the hay.
Yeah, it's about time for us to leave, so I'll cut all the promotional shit. Everybody knows where to find me, and I'll just end it with fuck LeBar.
And we're out.